Hey folks, this is Riker with a video comparing upcoming action RPG Torchlight Infinite and Diablo Immortal. Both of these are free-to-play mobile and PC games that are entries into long-standing franchises. And in this video, we'll talk about what their differences and similarities are. This is not a review of either game, but just a video explaining what sets these games apart from each other. And we're going to thank Torchlight Infinite for sponsoring this video. Now, both of these are games that I've been playing since their alphas. Diablo Immortal released on June 2nd, and Torchlight Infinite is launching in October. I had been playing Torchlight Infinite on mobile since December 2021, and the devs recently gave me access to their latest closed beta to try out the PC version. But again, you folks will be able to try out Torchlight Infinite for free when it launches in October. To check out the game for yourselves, you can click the link in the description to pre-register. Now, the first thing we need to talk about when comparing Infinite and Immortal, which will be reflected in just about every other major game system, is the monetization. No, though we will talk about that later. No, it's the fact that Diablo Immortal is an MMO ARPG, whereas Torchlight Infinite is more of a classic ARPG, like Torchlight 2, like Path of Exile, like Diablo 3. Diablo Immortal is explicitly designed to be a massively multiplayer experience, with all the social systems and open world design that you expect from an MMO, but with ARPG combat and an isometric perspective. Torchlight Infinite instead will feel fully familiar to ARPG players, with the kind of progression systems and gameplay loops that you expect from a modern ARPG. Diablo Immortal was developed by both Blizzard and NetEase, and it feels like a mobile evolution of Diablo 3. Torchlight Infinite is developed by an entirely different development studio from the previous Torchlight games. This studio is called XD Games, and they really want to get back to the roots of Torchlight 2 and pay homage to Torchlight 2. So the Diablo game most similar to Immortal is Diablo 3, and the Torchlight game most similar to Torchlight Infinite is Torchlight 2. And in both cases, you don't need to have played the previous games in the franchise in order to jump into these latest installments. All right, from here, let's talk about classes, skills, and builds. In Diablo Immortal, you have 6 classes to choose from, and more will release over time. In Torchlight Infinite, you'll have 6 classes at launch, and more will release over time. In Immortal, you get to customize the gender and the face of your character. In Infinite, you're not picking a class, you're actually picking a character in the story. You're picking a hero, so the gender, the face, the base visual appearance is locked. In Immortal, every class has 14 skills, so across the 6 current classes, that's 84 skills. Every class must pick one of 2 basic skills, and then you can fill out 4 additional skill slots with a variety of either damage, mobility, or utility skills. In Infinite, there's about 100 primary skills to choose from, and skills are not necessarily unique to one character. In other words, multiple characters, multiple heroes could be using the same skills. And you have 5 skill slots to assign whatever skills you desire. So in Immortal, your class defines your skills. In Infinite, your heroes define what you're good at. For instance, Commander Moto is particularly good at minions, receiving bonuses to minion skills. Now you'll note that we said 100 active skills, and that's because you can also equip up to 3 passive skills in Torchlight Infinite, and there's over 30 passive skills to choose from. Also, Torchlight Infinite has skills called support skills. These are very similar to support gems in Path of Exile. These are skills that support your other skills, modifying and enhancing them in some way. Every primary or passive skill can have up to 5 support skills applied to it, and there's easily another 80 plus support skills to choose from. Every skill has tags, and support skills will support skills with specific tags. For instance, one primary skill may have the summon tag, and then a support skill may apply to skills with the summon tag and grant a 40% size bonus to minions along with life and damage bonuses at the cost of summoning half as many minions. And again, you can have 5 such support skills tied to any primary, so you have a great ability to customize your skills. In Immortal, you don't have the ability to customize your skills built into character progression, but instead it's built into the itemization system. You'll find legendary items, and those legendary items will have legendary powers that can modify a skill in a specific way. You can have a total of 6 such legendary powers equipped, and every class has currently 60 legendary items to choose from. So, to summarize, we've thrown out a lot of numbers here. In Immortal, your class has to pick 5 out of 14 class unique skills, and then 6 out of 60 class-specific legendary powers to modify those skills. In Infinite, you get to pick 5 out of 100 non-class specific skills, plus up to 3 out of over 30 passive skills, and up to 40 out of over 80 support skills to modify those skills. Now, in addition to skills, in Immortal, you get to customize your character's progression via paragon trees. As you level up, you gain access to different paragon trees to choose from, and there are currently a total of 6 paragon trees available. Once you picked a paragon tree, you invest points into specific nodes to build your way through a path to get different bonuses. Every tree has about 11 nodes, and you're generally going to invest about 50 points into a tree before moving on to another tree. This is a very long tail progression system, as you could have to add 25 points into one node before moving on to the next. Torchlight Infinite has talent trees. These are similar to systems in Last Epoch or Grim Dawn. You pick a talent tree to invest into, and you build your way through the tree with comparatively rapid movement through the tree. A single tree has about 40 nodes in it, and a build may invest about 30 points into a tree. So you're forced to make a lot of decisions. You can't just get everything. Infinite also has a pact system, which is actually more similar to Immortal's Paragon system. As you level up, you gain pact points, and you can allocate these into a web, with each point giving you a small bonus. Alright, next let's talk about itemization. In Immortal, you have 6 primary gear slots and 6 secondary gear slots, plus a charm gear slot. As we previously explained, your primary gear slots will be legendary items. Your secondary gear slots will eventually be set items. That's the end game. Primary gear slots can have legendary gems socketed into them. These offer specific bonuses. There are currently 32 legendary gems in the game, but it can be incredibly difficult to get the rarest gems. More on that later. In your secondary slots, you can equip normal gems, which give small stat boosts. Overall, in Immortal, your gear is primarily stat sticks. That is, there's not really any difference between whether you're equipping a sword or an axe or a mace. It's just a cosmetic. All that matters is affixes. Itemization in Immortal is another long tail progression system, where you just continuously grind to upgrade the gear you have to get bigger and bigger numbers on the gear to be more powerful. The affixes themselves on the gear are relatively simple and of general secondary importance than just the raw upgrades. Overall, the itemization is much more what you expect in an MMO than in an ARPG. Infinite, on the other hand, has more familiar ARPG itemization. Different gear has different base stats. For instance, you might have one helm that gives you a lot of armor, but another helm might give you less armor but instead gives you energy shield. So depending on your build, you may be looking for different base item types. Furthermore, your skills may dictate what weapons you can use. For instance, a skill might require that you use a ranged weapon. Affixes on gear can get quite elaborate, and affixes are important enough to require hunting for the right combination of affixes for your build. Alright, let's talk a bit about activities. What do you actually do in the game? Both games have a campaign to play through. Outside of that, Immortal is very much an MMO, with a shared world. There are world bosses to fight, dungeons to run, daily quests, PvP battlegrounds, open world PvP, faction-specific quests, you have clan activities, you have group raids, and overall, you have this big list of things you can do every day that will keep you busy for at least a few hours. There are login incentives to keep you active, to keep you coming back and playing the game regularly. Many of the core activities in the game also incentivize you or require you to party up with other people. In Torchlight Infinite, you again have more of that classic ARPG experience. There's no daily quests, there's no fear of missing out, there's no PvP, there's no forced multiplayer. You just play when you want to. And the endgame is kind of similar to Path of Exile's Atlas mapping system. It's called the Netherrealm. You farm beacons to open portals to the Netherrealm. You progress through different levels in the Netherrealm, fighting bosses and unlocking greater difficulties. Alright, it's time we talk about monetization. So first off, both games are free to play. You can access all the content in both games for free. Then, both games have cosmetics. Immortal has cosmetic skins you can buy directly, or buy through a battle pass. These skins are unlocked for your character only. So if you make another character, you don't get the skin on that character. In Infinite, there are also cosmetics, and everything you purchase in Infinite is also unlocked across all platforms under the same account. Both games have cosmetic skins, but Infinite has a little bit more variety in the things that you can get. You can get footprints, you can get teleport effects. Immortal also has town portals, but Torchlight's cosmetics are a little bit more in line with Path of Exile's cosmetics, for instance. Alright, so apart from cosmetics, what else can you buy in these games? Well, in Immortal, you can buy power, directly and indirectly. The game has a battle pass with a free and a paid track. On the paid track, you get access to more legendary gems and more crafting materials, which saves you time on grinding these out for more power. Additionally, you can buy the Boon of Plenty, which gives you an additional 9 legendary gems, plus some convenience features. Plus, you can buy the Prodigy's Path, which will give you another 20 legendary gems. I should mention at this point, legendary gems are a very important source of power in Diablo Immortal, and you can effectively infinitely buy legendary gems. Now, to clarify, when I say you can buy legendary gems, you're actually generally buying a legendary crest, which lets you run a rift that at the end of it will drop a random legendary gem. So not only do you want to find the best, rarest legendary gems, but you also need to then level them up by feeding them other legendary gems. Other things you can buy include reforge stones to reforge affixes on your gear, but that's a minor thing compared to legendary gems. So Immortal is pay to win, but the question then becomes, how significant is the pay to win in Immortal? How does a free player fare compared to a pay to win player? Well, to give a rough estimate, if you take 2 players who are going at the game really hard, and they've been doing so now, let's say since launch, one is totally free to play, and the other is one of the bigger spenders in the game, then the paid player will have roughly double the damage and double the health of the free player. Not only that, but the paid player will also have the best legendary gems. These tend to give the best effects, which can't quite be measured in raw numbers. In a standard PvP matchup, for instance, it could take 3 coordinated free-to-play players to take down one whale. And this is within the same matchmaking brackets. A whale's matchmaking rating will lift him out of the reach of the average free-to-play player, but in theory, a whale would be able to destroy an entire uncoordinated free-to-play team. As for Torchlight Infinite, well, we previously reported that there is no pay-to-win in the game. That was a misunderstanding and a miscommunication. And we've seen more of the monetization system now with the release of the closed beta, which just happened on September 5th. So I'm actually re-recording this part of this video to include the latest information. So in addition to cosmetics, in Torchlight Infinite you can buy quality of life features like extra stash tabs, revive tokens, respecs. These are all things you can earn for free, but you can also pay for them. Additionally, you can spend real money on the game's legendary pet gacha system. Torchlight Infinite has pets. Pets give you small bonuses. You can equip multiple pets. Some pets are better than others. You need to upgrade your pets by finding multiple copies of the same pet, and this is all through random gacha pulls. With the best pets currently available, fully upgraded, it looks like you're going to be about 20% more powerful. So yes, you can buy power in Torchlight Infinite. And if you blast all the money you possibly can at the game, relying on those random pulls, you'll eventually be 20% more efficient. So a dungeon run will take you 4 minutes instead of 5 minutes. Additionally, it appears that in the newly released beta, there's also a system for gacha pulls for hero traits. These here are hero traits. Normally you unlock these as you level up. They're part of your character build. And they let you build and customize your character further in some way, similar to Path of Exile Ascendancies. Now it seems there's a new system whereby you can find more of these through gacha pulls, which you can also pay for. Then lastly, there's also a season pass type of system with a free track and a paid track. The paid track includes a lot of the things we've been discussing here, or otherwise currencies to acquire those things. So paying for the season pass will give you extra gacha pulls. Now I know for some people, being able to pay for any amount of power is automatically unacceptable, whereas for others it's about how pay to win a game is, or how predatory, or how much of an advantage you can buy, so hopefully this clears things up for everyone. But remember folks, Torchlight is in beta now, anyone can check out and play it and see the monetization for themselves, and the devs are open to feedback on everything. Everything that's in the game, it's there because they want feedback on it. Nothing is final. The full game itself will be releasing in October, link in the description. Thanks for watching, and be sure to check out our previous videos on Torchlight Infinite where we show a lot more gameplay, talk more about skills and other systems. If you enjoyed this video, please share it, check out these other videos, and subscribe to join Riker's Raiders for more ARPG content.